Hey, so I just wanted to record this video to just take you through the roadmap that I teach inside my Confident Copy Club. So this is something I've been refining over the last sort of 6 to 12 months, and going forward, this is going to be the sort of system that I teach because I know this works. This is what I do all the time. This is how I kind of make sales all the time. It really works for my clients when we implement it. So I just kind of want to share a little bit of what it looks like and how it works. So I've basically broken it down into these 5 phases. Your money-making message, validating your offer with paid clients, creating your audience building offers, your daily sales content, and your audience building strategies. Now, most people, when they talk about posting on social media to make sales, and I've really focused on this in the past as well, is this bit. It's about how to write that content that's connecting with your audience and getting really into the messaging and am I hitting the pain points and all that kind of stuff. And while that's important, obviously, as you can see in this kind of framework, that's only one piece of it. And I've done it in a circle because you keep building this, and it's not a linear process. And it doesn't even have to be done in this order necessarily, but they do all kind of connect. And when you have all these pieces in place, then it really starts working and building momentum. So really briefly, what each of these is: your money-making message. So that is your customer voice research. It's knowing what your audience is struggling with. And it's also your own brand message, your own brand values, and your own brand voice. This is something that you can come back to over and over as things evolve. But this is at the heart of writing this content. When you get all this stuff in place, this piece becomes so much easier because you end up creating content in response to what your audience is struggling with or what they're thinking, rather than just kind of putting it out there, throwing spaghetti at the wall and kind of guessing or brainstorming what it is that you think they need. Then this piece I love, validating your offer with paid clients. So don't spend days, weeks, months, even years kind of spinning your wheels thinking, what do they want? What should my offer be? What you want to do is you do this research, you get some clear ideas about what your audience is after, and then you simply put it out there. So we take this, we create some content around it, and then we put it out there and see if people put their hand up to buy. So if they do, then you're on the right track. And so you can keep, going through this process and refining, changing your offers, improving them, all that kind of stuff. But it's all about, one way of thinking is kind of co-creating it with your audience, because you're getting people to become clients rather than just people who are passively consuming your content. Then these audience building offers. So what I mean by that is these are your paid offers. So, ideally, particularly when you're starting out, you probably just want one paid offer just to keep it simple. Although saying that, for anything like me, you might have quite a few things on the go. Personally, I thrive having lots of different offers that I can cycle through and play around with. But that will just depend on you and how you like doing things. Now, audience building offers, these are the things that people tend to focus on too much. So by these, I mean things like your lead magnets, so your free stuff, or it could be paid masterclasses. It could be things like challenges, whether they're free or paid. So these are the things that you're creating to put out there to grow your audience, to build, to bring people into your world. And what I find, particularly in the first few years of business, is that people focus on this stuff to the exclusion, and they don't focus as much on this. And ideally, this is what's going to bring you revenue. So this should be your priority. And then when you're kind of clear that, okay, I've got a thing that people want to buy, let me think about what it is I can put in front of a wider audience to bring more people into my world, to then keep selling them into my offers. Which brings us to this point, the daily sales content. So obviously you can mix that up and you can be promoting your audience building offers and content. You can be promoting your paid offers. But until you've kind of got at least this in place, and then ideally this plus this, this is just throwing spaghetti at the wall. So that's why you need to kind of have this whole holistic system in place, because if you don't know what your audience wants and you're writing content that you're just guessing, if you haven't validated your offer, you don't know if the thing that you're trying to sell is actually resonating with your audience. And not having all this stuff clear is what can cause that jam that stops you from putting stuff out there, because if you keep putting stuff out to crickets and nobody's paying attention, is quite demoralizing. That's why following this process really helps with making sure that when you get to this point of writing your content consistently, it is going to be making sales for you, because you've already gone through this foundational stuff. And then having these pieces in place, you want to then have, you've got your audience building offer. There's no point just putting the same stuff in front of the same people day in and day out. You need to keep bringing new people into your world. And so audience building strategies, this is how you do it. And I have really focused in the last 12 months or so just on Facebook, and just keeping really simple. And I just have a few things that I do every day, and it really works. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to even use Facebook if you don't want, but it's just about being consistent and, finding the strategies that work for you. I don't spend more than 20 minutes a day on any of this, because I just get bored and it just does my head in. And that's why this kind of system I've put together has just, it works really, really well when you have all those pieces in place. So I just wanted to share this with you, because if you're like a lot of people I see at this point, where you're putting out a lot of content, but you haven't got all these other pieces in place, or you haven't done some of this work, or perhaps, perhaps you have done some of this, but you're not building your audience every day. If you don't have all of this stuff in place, then it's all going to stall. You do need to follow this process. So I wanted to share that with you. This is the roadmap that I take people through inside the Confident Copy Club. And I hope that's helpful. And if you've got any questions, reach out to me, and somewhere around this video I'll put a link if you want to have a look at the sales page, which goes into this in way more detail. All right, thanks.